Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to be with you today. Very important podcast. This is our final projection of the 53-man roster. Of course, tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday the 26th, the first initial will come out. Remember, it's just an initial. There will be other things. So I'll get into more details of that in a moment. I do want to discuss an issue which my co-beat writer Ezekiel Trezevant's already addressed. You can go read the article. We found out early this morning that Jakobi Meyers had asked the Raiders, since they were not able to come to a deal about a trade. The Raiders did not want to honor that. The Raiders cite his value to the 2025 team. It's not animus. Jakobi's not going to be a troublemaker. It's not who he is. He's a man of integrity. He's a man of character. He has a guaranteed contract left and remaining here with this year. But I've been pounding the hammer here. He needs to get paid. And, Max's situation was different. He had no guaranteed money left. They took care of Colton and they lose Spillane. Now, Landon Roberts was a really good addition, but they lost Spillane, and Jakobi is very respected in that locker room. His teammates very much care for him, and he is a humongous part of this offense. I mean, the guy give him a 2-year extension that gives him 3 years. And then your young wide receivers will be going into the 3rd year of their deal, and you're fine. And he's a QB1 WR1 that doesn't drop the football. But we can confirm the report. Again, we were told about it this morning, but it was not something that we were going to write about. But since someone already did, we were going to wait a little bit. But we can confirm it's a 100% accurate report. But there's no animus. It isn't like Jakobi hates them or they hate him. It's just the reality of the situation. All right, let's dig into our 53-man roster. Now, we are taping this. There's not cuts out there yet. And this is what we believe. It could very well, they may make a decision, because one of the things that I find fascinating right now is Pete Carroll and John Spytek have a really, really good relationship. And if this was year 3 of them, usually when I do my final roster projections, I am right on the money. There may be one that I miss, maybe, but usually how the general manager and the coach think. They're still learning each other. So if they have a disagreement, that doesn't mean they're not on the same page. And we're just going to learn. Like, I could see a disagreement over Alex Bachman or Tommy Mellott. Tommy Mellott is a guy maybe you're betting on the future, if you don't think you can put him on the practice squad. Now, a lot of people think they could put him on the practice squad. There are some who don't think they could. So that's legitimate. But you could see it. But I do think, and I said this the other day before Aiden's injury, you can go back and listen. I said I could see 2 or 3 guys that aren't on the roster now making the 53-man roster. Now with Aiden off, I can see 1 for sure, but I could still see a couple more. And we'll keep our eyes on that. First, we go to quarterback, where I think they're going to keep 3. I think they're going to keep Cam Miller, who I don't think in any way is ready. I don't think Pete thinks he's ready. In fact, go read my article I wrote this morning about Pete Carroll just being plain spoken. Boy, he has some great stuff in there about Aiden O'Connell. You can find that at si.com/NFL/Raiders. But I think they keep Cam, because I don't think they can put him on the practice squad. Somebody will take him. They keep Geno, and then a quarterback who's yet to be named. At running back, I think they're going to keep Ashton, Raheem, Sincere, and Zamir. Now, I could see them letting either Raheem or Sincere go. And my number 53, I think they keep Dylan Labe too. So that would be 5 running backs. I could see them letting Sincere or Raheem go and to keep someone else. I could see that. Next, wide receiver. Got him keeping Bachman, Jakobi Meyers, Dante Thornton, Jack Besh, and Trey Tucker. 5. Now, do they keep Tommy Millott and let Sincere go? Okay, I could see that as an angle. I could see them letting Raheem go. Although, to me, with Raheem, you save about 700 grand on your salary cap if you get rid of Raheem, but you also get rid of that experience. So it's just interesting to me. How would they do that one? But I don't have them keeping Tommy. I have them keeping all the running backs and not keeping Tommy, but I could see that for sure. Alex Bachman, I just think you can't preach compete, and he's done it. And he's done it. And then, boy, I think that would be hard to keep him off the roster. I don't think it would be immoral or anything like that. I just think it would be very, very hard. Then you come to offensive line. Now, Thayer Mumford, I have him keeping 9. Thayer Mumford has really struggled. He has not had a good camp. And anybody that knows me knows I like him. It isn't personal. I like him. But he's struggled. Very much so. But at this point, I have him keeping him, but he's struggled. I got Charles Grant. I got him keeping him. Colton Miller, Delmar DJ Glaze, the Mule, Jackson Powers Johnson, Alex Kappa, Caleb Rogers, Jordan Meredith, Dylan Parham. I got him keeping all those guys. All of them. And again, Thayer is the one that struggled. They can't let the rookies go. Grant and Rogers would not make it on the practice squad. They would be picked up. Even though neither one is ready right now, their upside is enormous and very good, high upside. With Millott, you projecting. With those two, you're firmly believing. Then you go to tight end, where I told you originally going into camp, keeping 3 tight ends is, I told you before camp, keeping 3 tight ends in the NFL is almost not heard of. And then I told you at camp, if wide receivers didn't come along, remember at the time going into camp, Bachman wasn't on the radar. There was really 4 wide receivers that if only 4 emerged, I could see him making a trade or keeping 4 tight ends. I know there were people in the building who brought up the issue, maybe 4 tight ends, but really 3, Brock, Mayer, and Ian Thomas. Then you go to the specialists. A.J. Cole, Daniel Carlson, Jacob Moyer, 0 issues there. I believe it's the best 1-2-3 punch of specialists. Then you go to defensive end. Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, Charles Snowden. Solid group. Very, very solid group. I think you can truthfully argue that all 4 of those guys had decent camps. Max was outstanding. Malcolm was good. I thought Tyree was good and Snowden was good. Thomas Booker. And I'm just going to go back from, I know some people just for whatever reason love to hate Tyree. I had people sending me notes about, oh, I don't know what you see in Tyree. I don't see it in Tyree. And I'm like, I don't know what you don't see. I don't know how you can't see it. But people don't. Then you go to defensive tackle. Thomas Booker, Tonka Hemingway, Adam Butler, J.J. Pegues, and Jonah Lalu. Those are my 5 defensive tackles. Then you go to corner. I got a couple of guys here that were surprises. Caillou Blue Kelly. Did not have him making the roster. Played his way on, in my opinion. Greedy Vance. I thought this guy would be competing for practice squad. I said I thought Caillou would make the practice squad. I said Greedy would be competing. I think he's played himself onto the roster. I do. Eric Stokes, Darian Porter, Darnay Holmes, and DCAM. I think they all make it. Linebacker, Landon Roberts, the Raiders' secret weapon. I got a feature story coming on him next week. You do not want to miss that. Devin White, excellent camp. Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg. There's a guy I said I thought would be on the practice squad, but I said, reminded of people a lot of Robert Spillane. Go back and watch my first 53 projection and my practice squad projection. Lindbergh played himself on. You got several guys here that, because of Pete Carroll's competition, played their way on, including some UDFAs like a Cody Lindenberg. Great job by Cody. Jermaine Pratt, phenomenal, good camp. And Jamal Adams. Boy, Jamal offers some position flexibility because can you imagine some injury at safety? You can put him back there. He's a linebacker, but you got him there just position versatility. Safety, IPM, Chris Smith, Jeremy Chin, and Terrell Edmonds. No surprise there. And then I talked about Dylan Labe being the 53rd man. So again, I could see some Raheem or Sincere not making it, keeping Tommy. I don't think this roster's done at all. They're going to sign a quarterback, and I think they could make a trade or sign a couple of free agents at 2 spots. So I don't think this roster's done at all. And what's going to matter is game day in New England in 13 days. Let's break down the roster. 3 specialists, 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 4 offensive tackle, 5 interior offensive linemen, 3 tight ends, 4 defensive ends, 5 defensive tackles, 6 corners, 4 safeties, 6 linebackers. Now let's really dig into specifics. 25 on offense, 25 on defense, 3 on special teams, and 11 rookies. 11 rookies. 11 rookies making this roster. That's a really big deal. And again, there's going to be more roster cuts are going to begin leaking out here relatively soon. In fact, I'm going to be posting this later in the day, so there may even already be some. We're going to have a cut tracker up for you guys to follow. If I were you, I would just save the link to the story and keep updating it. And again, tomorrow night's podcast is going to be all in talking about who made the roster and all that. Now, one other thing I want to address with you is coming up on Thursday, I'm going to have a riveting interview with my very good friend, Todd Marinovich. Todd is a good friend. I love Todd. Going to have some really incredible information for you. As you know, Todd went through the highs and lows of life, was a Raider. Basically, his career comes to an end because of his addiction. Todd and I are going to talk about a very frank conversation with how Mark Davis, in an amazing way, basically loved Todd back into the Raider Nation, what it means to once be a Raider, once a Raider, always a Raider. We're going to talk frankly about his addiction, and then we're going to have a couple of special giveaways. We're going to give away some autograph stuff. You're going to really want to see Thursday's podcast. It's going to be a tremendous podcast with Todd. Again, great friend. Shannon and I are going to be going to dinner with him in Hawaii at his home here later next year after the season. But his story is amazing. I can guarantee if you saw other media's projection of his story, if you watched it portray live, there's a ton of details you don't have. And Todd's going to just really open up the curtain and go behind it and bare his soul. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. So please make sure that you check out Thursday's podcast with Todd Marinovich. Tomorrow, talking about the roster and a lot more. And so there you go. We're going to have a lot more for you coming up, a lot more projections. And let me know once the roster comes out tomorrow what you think. And any questions that you have. We're going to do a question and answer podcast this week. So looking forward to talking to you. Looking forward to breaking all this down with you. Thanks for checking us out tonight, everybody. We appreciate you, and we'll see you all back here tomorrow.